while we wait for DE to take another look at Tauron Strikes, I've been thinking of some ways they could not only improve the charge rate of this ability, which seems to be the general consensus desire from the community, but also make it a bit more interesting and dynamic between the operator schools. Now, I'd be shocked if these are somehow unique ideas actually, but right now all of them require 5,000 kills at baseline or the usage of various mods and arcanes that adjust the initial charge and the charge rate, as well as convergence orbs, and if you're in the Parita, well, there's also clearing objectives as well. So I've been thinking both internally and externally in the various Warframe live streams that I've done over the past few days about how I would actually adjust Tauron Strikes, and I would like to actually collate them all into one easily consumable video. So let's get into it. There's 3 types of changes that I'd like to make. Number 1, baseline adjustments. Number 2, universal charge methods. Number 3, school-specific charge methods. Basically, while there are some mission types where I wouldn't expect to get Tauron Strikes fast enough, like captures and rescues, I do want Tauron Strikes to show up a lot faster in endless missions and in things like exterminates. So, baseline adjustment. Like I mentioned, it currently takes 5,000 kills to get a Tauron Strike. Let's cut that down by 3,000, so that only takes 2,000 kills to get a Tauron Strike. So now each kill gives 0.05% charge. Remember, kills are not going to be the only way we're going to get Tauron Strike charges, so let's just put those pitchforks away for a second. Because we're going to go into the second thing, which is universal charge methods. We already have convergence orbs. Perhaps instead of only plus 20%, they could give like plus 50% or something significant like that. This could either be like a baseline change to these convergence orbs, or they could make it that convergence orbs are in fact affected by charge rate arcanes. I do not believe they currently are. I mentioned in another video that when you complete objectives in Parita, you get 50% charge, and that's something I'd like to see in regular missions that have multiple objectives. Maybe not as strong as a boost, maybe instead it's 30%, but that would still mean that a mobile defense objective can give you that each wave of a defense mission, or each oxygen supply from a survival mission can also give you that as well. This would incentivize using those oxygen supply towers anyway in a survival mission, despite the fact that you've already maxed out your oxygen. And I think that XMI should give 2 times the charge depending on how they were killed, and this will depend on the focus school, whilst Acolytes could potentially just straight up give 5% charge. Meanwhile, I've been thinking of giving operator kills additional charge, maybe 0.5% or 1% per kill. So if you manage to kill 100 enemies with your operator, you can charge up your Tauron Strike. Numbers can be adjusted for balance purposes, of course, but suffice to say, I think it'd be great to further incentivize building your operator. And if the idea is that an operator kill is worth, let's say, 10 times the amount of a Warframe kill, but a Warframe can potentially nuke an entire room, then that might really depend on your scenario as to whether or not you want to lean on your Warframe or your operator, but at least there would be a reason to bring out the kiddo for a bit of time in the sun. And finally, school-specific charge methods. Each school leans towards a different aspect of gameplay, and I think it would be a great opportunity for D to really solidify that by having their Tauron Strikes, which already have effects appropriate for their respective schools, also charge up faster with specific relevant methods. So, without further ado, let's get into it. This is going to be long, so strap yourselves in. Let's start off with Maudrai, the school that leans heavily on DPS. This one's really straightforward. Warframes, primary and secondary weapons, and operator kills will give 3 times their respective charge, as well as Parazon kills can give plus 5% charge. There we go. I think that would work pretty well because it's just all about more violence. But I have notably left out melee. We will talk about that a little bit later. Zenurik, the school that leans on energy. This is going to be a little bit complicated, but hear me out. When you get energy, you also get additional Tauron charge. The amount of charge that you can get per energy, be it from orbs or from some form of energy generation, would also be increased based on your current maximum energy. So, let's say you get 25 energy from an orb and your current maximum energy is 150. Here's a formula I've just come up with off the top of my head, and through that we get 0.375, and that would be the amount of charge percent that you'd get. Now that would still be 7.5 times the amount of energy you'd get from a single kill based on the baseline adjustments for getting a single kill. Meanwhile, let's say you're running my Mag Prime build who has 755 max energy, and once again you get 25 energy from an orb. Using the exact same formula, you put all those numbers together, don't forget to carry the 1, and you get 1.8875. That becomes the new amount of charge percent that you get, which, by the way, means 53 energy orbs on a build like that would actually get you a full Zenurik charge. Zenurik mains, let me know in the comments if this is either a tall order of energy orbs or not, because to me, it kind of feels overpoweredly low as an amount of energy orbs to grab, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. The point is that there should be also an incentive, I think, to build for energy, which could be very interesting because, after all, it's Zenurik, it's the energy class. Naramon, the school that is all about melee. This is why I left melee out of the Maudrai buffs. Melee kills will give 3.5 times their respective charge as opposed to 3 times on Maudrai. I just pulled this number out of my ass, really, but the point is that whilst Maudrai will of course get faster charge on all other kills, Naramon hyper-focuses on melee. Stealth kills, I think, of any kind should also get plus 1% charge. So I guess you could think of the stealth part of a stealth kill being plus 20 kills of any kind, so that could be really, really good as well. This would also stack with the previously mentioned melee kills multiplier, so I would think that a stealth melee kill actually gets you plus 3.5% charge, so that could actually be really, really strong for the Naramon mains. Vazarin, the school that's all about healing. Now, in a similar approach to Zenurik, once again, for every point of HP you heal via an ability or via HP orbs, you get additional charge whilst taking your own max HP as some kind of a multiplier. So let's say you heal up all 930 HP on your Oberon using Renewal. That's this formula that I've written up, and with that we end up with 2.1622, and that's the charge percent that you just got from doing that. Now at 200% power strength, you can actually achieve that in 8.5 seconds with the initial heal as well, or 11.7 seconds if you already had the ability active or you didn't get that initial heal. If you're one of those freaky ass Unairu mains with, let's say, 10,000 HP, which might not even be freaky ass territory anymore, and you healed, like, let's say a quarter of it with a finisher, then let's plug in the numbers, and with the same formula you end up with 62.5%, which basically means that 2 finishes with Unairus will get you 1 Tauron Strike. Okay, maybe these numbers need a limiter, or maybe they just need way more workshopping. Why did I add like a divide by 4,000 instead? Well, that's just so that because you're getting your charge from healing your teammates as well, which also means that healing something like the 7+ Shadows of the Dead from Necros could potentially be really OP for Vazarin mains. The point is to incentivize healing, but to also build characters for more HPs, and I guess in the case of Oberon, actually giving him a reason to use Renewal again. And finally, Unairu, the school that is all about tanking damage. Basically, every hit you take gives 0.2% charge. This means that taking fire actually charges up your Tauron Strike 4 times faster than actually doing kills. Now, you don't necessarily have to lose HP to get a charge. This could incentivize using something like Guardian Derision, as well as sword and shield weapons, for example, to taunt enemies into attacking you. I would also have this effect extended to any of your summons, as they would naturally be soaking hits as well, such as the aforementioned Shadows of the Dead Necros, but also, I just want to put this out there, Duality Equinox running around with that sword and shield. Once again, let me just emphasize that the numbers can always be tweaked by DE to figure out the balance of it, but I hope that the ideas that I've expressed today make some level of sense, because I feel like they could be amazing ways to make Tauron Strikes just somewhat more interesting to achieve at the very least. No doubt there will be some handful of meta methods to get each one, and then people will probably start one-tricking one of them in some fashion, but I would hope at the very least those who are a little bit more chill about this will appreciate some variety in the overall gameplay loop when it comes to getting these otherwise really cool Tauron Strikes, except for the Naramon one. Apparently something up with that one. I don't know what's going on there, but that's a completely separate conversation for later on. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. What other things would you like to see as a way of making Tauron Strike charging more interesting for you and hopefully also faster as well. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like, hit the like button, subscribe for more Warframe content maybe. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.